Okay, guys, so next up we have Maggie and Wade. Can we give them a round of applause? Hey, guys.
Y'all get dressed up for the
Got
event?
Wade. Look at Wade.
Look at you.
Hey, I always...
I always wear a sports coat, so it's just good to see you guys.
Okay, so a little bit of fun background. Again, I grew up in a very Dave Ramsey-esque household. I adulted well. I was never going to borrow money that wasn't mine. And I had a friend that had joined Lifestyles and started buying all these houses. And he kept talking to me and my husband about it. And she was like, hey, yeah, I'm trying to do this real estate thing. It's great. I'm starting to cash flow and we're building all this equity. And I was like, that sounds like a pyramid scam and you're a slumlord and I am not interested because we don't do things like that. And so that is exactly what I thought. And a couple years went by and we kept talking and having dinner and it was like, so are you still doing that slumlord thing over there? And he's like, yeah, I am. And I'm actually cash flowing X amount of dollars, which was a pretty decent number every single month. And I was like, tell me more about this slumlording you speak of. And so he's like, no. And he explained, like, no, we make sure that everything's clean and functional. And we do all of these things. He's like, I'm a part of this group. It's Lifestyles. And I think, you might want to be interested in just listening to what it is that they have to say. So again, I am so risk averse that I knew about Lifestyles a couple of years before I joined, and I knew somebody that was actually in Lifestyles, acquiring properties, cash flowing, and building a lot of equity. And it's funny because had I listened when he would talk about it, this would have been the time frame where I could have bought those coulda, shoulda, woulda houses where it was like, if I had a time machine back in 2009, I would have bought all the houses in San Antonio. Well, this is the guy that was sitting across from my dinner table and telling me about Lifestyles all of these years.
Yes.
And he is the reason why my husband and I actually decided to come in and just see what this place was all about. And so Wade and Maggie.
So then you got a job here.
Yeah, and then I just
So take it
ran
to the
with
next
it.
level.
So I'm kind of an all or nothing kind of gal.
Well, it's funny because I found David on YouTube. And make a long story short, I did everything the wrong way when I wanted to become a real estate investor. And so I was digging around YouTube, because that's my favorite website, and I found David, and he's in San Antonio. I'm like, oh man, this is great. So he's in Lifestyles. I came to Lifestyles, met David and Dell and Karen and everybody else, and learned the right way to do things. And then Jillian joined up, so it's kind of a small circle of friends that become, real estate investors together. So it's a lot of fun.
Because when you start making money, you have to have friends that can vacation with you.
That's right. That's right. And that's actually a problem. Like, none of my friends can ever go on vacation when I'm always like, guys, let's go somewhere. Like, oh, I got to go to work. I'm like, all right, see you later. So.
You're like, oh, you want to go to lunch? Where do you want to go? Well, of course we want to go to Perry's.
Yeah, exactly.
And Maggie, you were a teacher. You taught both middle school and high school. So do you miss it just so much?
I miss the kids. I
That's what
love my
everybody
students.
says.
I love my students, but I also love my own children, and I wanted to see them grow up. It was great seeing other people's kids grow up, but I wanted to see my babies grow up. So, when Wade gave me the opportunity, hey, you can help me out and you can stay home with the kids. I mean, it was a no-brainer. I'm gonna, I want to stay with my kids.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and
so-
I want to go on vacation.
Yeah,
too.
just like, so Maggie helps with all the rentals that we have or had, and she allows her to stay home with the kids and help operate the properties. So it's win-win. She had to walk away from your teaching. How long were you a teacher? 8 years? 7 years?
7 years.
7 years?
7 years, yes.
So that was a big leap of faith. I appreciate you for that.
Any teachers in the room? Former teachers? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's a great job, and I know that everybody always says they love the kids. They don't like the politics behind it, but
Well, you don't go home.
You guys definitely
don't-
aren't paid
You
enough.
don't leave the job. You don't leave it.
you don't leave it.
So
and you're not
constantly
paid
doing
enough, so you have to do something like
Yeah.
real estate to be able to retire
Yes.
from it.
Right.
All right, so you heard about Lifestyles through YouTube.
Yes.
Some crazy guy on YouTube.
Some guy named David.
And then you went to the 2-day, learned about it, and the reason why you were looking for it was because you did do a property before joining Lifestyles, and
Yes.
it went oh so wrong.
It did not go well, and I lost my earnest money. And I didn't want this doctor, as a guy, doctor selling it, and I didn't know what I was doing, and so I realized I had to find a mentor.
Yep, first rule, we don't lose
Yeah.
money in real estate.
So
So this property here on Gladstone, you purchased this in 2020. This is actually a triplex. And this is, Maggie now has a stay-at-home mom job of working on the properties, and she has the easiest job ever because this is your last single-family property that you ended up selling off here recently.
Yes, exactly.
So you bought it, looks very lovely, went in and made it pretty, updated it,
It needed love, yep,
Yes.
modernized it.
yep. The doors are red like David Fisher's.
So I see that you decided to go with blinds opposed to a sheet. Did that work out better?
It did work out better, yes, it did, yeah. The tenants were happy about that.
So again, providing a property for people to live in and to call a home, making it clean and functional, and modernizing it, making it look nice. And this was comparable for the neighborhood that it was in. So you didn't over rehab, you didn't under rehab.
No.
You went in and did exactly what it is that
Exactly.
you needed to
Yeah.
do for it. So you purchased this property for $79,900. You had a $40,000 rehab, and you sold it this year through one of our agents here, Greg Combs. He found a buyer for you
Yeah.
and you sold it for $233,000.
Yes.
When you purchased it, your cash out of pocket was $16,777. I love the exact number there. And you ended up making $113,100 upon the sale.
Yes,
That is
thank you.
huge.
No, I appreciate it. You know, honestly, all the mentors here are, you know, inspirations, and everybody's a team. Like, I couldn't have done this without the mentorship, you know, Jill and David and Greg and everybody and my wife. I mean, it's a team sport, right? So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was good to sell it too.
So you're.
Wait, you bought it in the pandemic, right? Is
I did.
yeah,
That was
is right?
interesting. Yes.
Did you have to wear a mask when you?
I did, and I still got COVID. So, yeah. But yeah, it was
This particular
interesting.
property was this ground zero.
Yeah, you know, it was just chaos. It was a little chaos for us, touch and go. You know, I think the whole world had problems. So, you know, what's a rehab in the middle of COVID? But yeah, it worked out fine. Like, you know, you make it work.
You think? Did it
Yeah,
work out all right?
yeah, you make it work. It wasn't too terrible. So,
You turned 17,000 into 113. Was it worth it?
yes, absolutely. I wish I could do more of those. This one was kind of, I categorize deals like baseball, like a base hit or a double. This was, I think, a home run for us in terms of deals. You know, they're not always as good, which is fine, because it averages out in the end. So,
when you sold it, I was on the phone, I was chatting with Maggie, and she was telling me that the property had sold and you still had a remaining tenant. And so Maggie was still answering questions for the tenant, even though they had a new owner. She kept giving them the new contact information, but because they are such good landlords and they had such great communication skills with their tenant didn't want the new landlord. They wanted to continue to
yeah, that happens.
It
Yeah,
does.
it
which is
does.
good.
You take good care of your people.
You
That's
take good
rule
care
number
of them.
one. You
Get
got to take care of your
long-term
tenants. Yeah.
Absolutely. So right now, again, that was the last single family in your portfolio that you
Yes.
sold. Don't worry, guys, he'll totally buy some more as they
Yes.
come up. I know he will. But your short-term goals are currently you're an aspiring lead, and you are
Mm-hmm.
looking to be a lead on your first apartment
Yes.
complex.
Yeah. That's where we're headed. Just looking for something that makes sense for us, a bigger apartment community, just to kind of follow the model.
Yeah.
You know. So that's where we're at.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you too would eventually like to back away from IT.
Yes, so I do have a full-time job officially. I'm fortunate. It's very flexible, so I can do both of these things. But I'm ready. I feel like we talk about IT here a lot. No, I've been ready to leave IT for a long time. So
I think Wade was ready to leave IT when we were
Yes.
sitting at dinner when he was telling me about
Yes.
lifestyles. So the great thing about Lifestyles that has changed your life, again, is Maggie now has the ability to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of the kiddos and be able to watch them grow up.
Yeah.
And you're able to travel and provide those experiences for your kids, too, taking them
Absolutely.
on vacation, sending kids to overpriced summer camps, all of that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been nice too. Like the taxes this year, my taxes as a W-2 earner, they're never fun. But real estate's been tremendously helpful on that front because Maggie is a real estate professional. She runs all the properties. That's her only job, so that's really helped us
Well,
out as
and
well.
that mom job.
And the mom job, yes, and the mom job. So, I mean, it's even benefiting the W-2 side of my income stream. And that's been, I mean, you don't realize how much you pay in taxes until you get the
Like
money
that
back.
second.
Yeah. So,
So for all the new people in the room that just heard, she's a real estate professional, we're okay with our taxes, come to this seminar because I spent about an hour and a half going over that and why we love tax season.
You don't have a tax problem, you have an
Taxes
income
are fun.
problem.
Taxes
When you know
are
what you're
fun.
doing.
Yes.
So when you first started, Jim Vaughn was your mentor. He was
Yes.
my mentor too.
Jim's
Jim.
awesome.
Good one. And then you sold this property through Lifestyles Realty.
Yes.
And again, you had an experience with it and real estate, and then you were like, you know what? I need a mentor on this. I need somebody to
Yep.
walk me through the process.
I needed a professional mentor, and that's what Lifestyles has become. Actually, a ton of friends, there's a lot of folks here are friends now, people I can talk to about this thing, called real estate that I love so much, and everyone here gets it. Everyone else kind of looks at me funny after a while because I talk about it so much.
Exactly. Everybody's
Yep.
a naysayer until they're one of you.
Exactly.
So for anybody sitting in the audience right now that is, again, just thinking about starting or needs like a little motivation to get moving, any advice you'd like to give them?
Go for it, Maggie. I've been doing all the talking.
Well, I just wanted to say something I've been wanting to say because I heard some of the couples talk about their kids and legacy and things like that. And there's been times where I've had to take the kids with me, when we're running errands or doing stuff for the properties. And so, when I'm dragging the kids, my daughter's 8 and our son's 4. And so I was like, what are we doing here? And I'm taking pictures because I'm going to upload them. So, to get tenants in and to explain to them in a way that they can understand that, this is our business and, instead of going to work, this is our work and you can go and have fun and people are going to be paying you, while you're going out and having fun. And so this is what we do. We fix up these houses, make them nice so people can live in these houses. And just to see, my son has no idea what I'm talking about. He's like, whatever, Mom. But my daughter, I could see it in her eyes. She's like, something's starting to click in there. And I'm hoping that, I can instill that. We can instill that.
Yes.
When we go to that trip, we go to Park City or something, it's like, we could do that because we have people paying, us to live in our house.
Yes.
So.
When our kids get older, I want them to grow up like Odin over here and David. I'm serious. That's great.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
It's no longer Odin, it's Wood Chip Willie or something.
Wood Chip Willard. Yeah. I see you on. I mean, we've never met, but I see you on Facebook like every day. I'm like, this kid's killing it. So yeah.
What's your YouTube channel, Ed?
So yeah, I think that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Like, our kids, giving a legacy for them. What was your question about how to get started?
No,
Yeah,
that's a great segue if you
Look,
have
just
children. Or,
if you have an interest in it, talk to a mentor, and do it the right way. Don't do it like I did it originally, and you'll be successful out of the gate. Right? Great team. You can't go wrong. So.
Absolutely. Vivian, her daughter, is such a sweet, empathetic child. She's going to be the one that's going to value the bettering communities. And I think that that's something that we absolutely gloss over when we're talking about all these numbers and looking at our before and after pictures. You have to remember that in addition to fixing up these houses and providing a quality place for our tenants to live, we're also bettering the community and giving people an affordable place to live that they can be proud of that they otherwise wouldn't have. So that's a good thing. My daughter, Harper, is going to be the one that needs to do property management. She'll collect rent, don't worry. They can team up.
Yes.
Absolutely. Do we have any questions for Wade and Maggie?
Well, thank you. Oh, we got a question right there.
One right, straight in the back first, over here, and then we'll hit you over there on the right, left.
I'll
Sure.
repeat it.
So for this house in particular, how did you find it? Was it MLS, wholesale, and then this was like 16, 17K out of pocket. Was that kind of average for you guys as far as out of pocket goes, or?
So how did I find?
Two questions.
Oh, we got to repeat it because we got a whole bunch
Sorry,
of
Great question.
The question was, how did you find the property? Where did you source it from, whether it be MLS
Yes.
or Zillow or whatnot? And the next question was, as far as it being $16,000 out of pocket, is that average, and how does that work?
Great questions. I found this from a wholesaler. He sent me some leads before, and a lot like you've heard tonight, no one wanted it. It was pretty scary. So yeah, well, it needed some work, but Yeah, so, and also there's tenants in it, so you know, people just don't want to deal with some of that, and I get it. Out-of-pocket costs, yeah, that's probably on the low side, I would say, it was probably on the lower side. But we worked with, I forget it was a hard money deal, I forget the name off the top of my head. I've got so much in here right now. But anyway, so we used hard money to acquire the property. And yeah, I would say that was probably on the low side for sure, out-of-pocket costs. But like those deals are out there. People, I mean, they're there. People just don't want to buy them because they're scary. And listen, that's fine by me. I'll take it.
And you
know,
bought
I'll
it during a pandemic, so even more people were
Yes,
scared. So.
exactly.
Yep.
People died.
Dang, jokes. We love jokes. Good questions. Yeah, you're welcome. No
Any
problem.
We had another question over here somewhere. There was a hand, right?
So yeah, this rehab was longer. That's a good question. This rehab.
was the
How
rehab?
long was rehab time?
How long was the rehab?
long?
Sorry for not repeating. Yeah, this rehab was probably every bit of 6 months. A lot longer than I expected it to be. But just in full transparency, those things happen sometimes. When COVID hit, it got crazy. You know, my team of folks had to drive to California. Like, people are just, the world went upside down for a long time. And so, yeah, you know, but, you know, it worked out well in the end. I would have liked it to have been a lot shorter. But that's the breaks. But we, you know, I think we've gone through COVID, like, I don't know what else could possibly go wrong in the world, but like, if COVID didn't break real estate, I don't know really what would.
Yeah.
So-
The pandemic can't take us down.
Yeah, the pandemic couldn't do it, but the rehab was every bit of 6 months.
Yeah.
Not normal rehab for me, like, usually a lot shorter if possible, you know.
Follow-up
Sure.
question?
So your 6-month rehab, you did a hard money loan, you just say it's like 18%, so you're paying as soon as that loan gets finalized for that 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
So is that included in your $16,000 out of pocket?
No. Well, the day I signed for the actual out of pocket, that was what I paid. But no, the hard money loan was not 18%. If I recall correctly, it was probably 12.99. It's a good question. But you know, you don't stay in them too long. You factor in these numbers well before you buy a property, which is why it's so important you have a mentor, because you have to run your numbers and underwrite the deal accordingly. But yeah, after all was said and done, it was, well, I think it was $11,000 out of pocket, $5,000 for the earnest money, and you have your payments every month to the hard money lender. We get tenants there paying, you know, so you're collecting from them. Then you ask them to leave and go to a better place and provide for them.
That's where my Spanish came
That's
from.
where, like, we provide, because they can't live in a property that's run down, you know, you just can't have that happen. So, but you factor all these into your budget, you know. And quite frankly, I didn't expect, like, the property values have gone up so much that it was just a huge blessing for us, because we had underwritten the property to be a lot lower in value. And when we actually got the appraisal back, we were pretty shocked. So that really worked out well for us too, in terms of
One of the side
the
effects
numbers.
of the pandemic was it made people buy houses for more than they should have, which helped our ARVs.
Yeah, so even after all the underwriting, it was still, when we looked at it, we thought, man, this is a great deal. Like, you just can't get a property for $80,000, or let alone on a decent side of town.
Yeah.
So, good question.
Yes, one more question.
So, keep hearing presenters talking about getting mentors. What is your advice for those of us who don't have access to mentors? We're the FFP members.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What would be the next alternative if you don't have access to mentors?
The question was, what would be a good alternative if you are just on the financial freedom program? Have you attended the 2-day?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so part of the 2-day 2, they're going to talk about kind of building out a team. So making sure that you are vetting people that would be on that team, your contractors, your agents, making sure that those agents know how to efficiently run comps or comparable properties so that you can help determine all of those things. At the FFP level, you also have access to our vendor program, which has these hard money lenders and all of the lenders on it. So, I mean, again, at the FFP level, you have access to pretty much everything with the exception of the mentors. Yep. And our realtors.
There's some questions online here about becoming a real estate professional. Do you want to talk about that, Maggie? How difficult it is for you to become a real estate professional? Would you explain to...
The truth? Okay. He was like, hey, you should be a real estate professional. I was like, what is that? And then we saw a YouTube video kind of showing how to keep track and what to
Log
do.
the correct amount of hours and
Right.
put enough amount of the time, and a big percentage of your individual income
Yeah.
must be derived directly from real estate. So obviously, to claim real estate professional on your own individual taxes, we are not CPAs, and we strongly encourage you to reach out to your CPA to see if that's going to work for you. And again, please review the things along with the IRS.
Yeah, so we had the real estate professional status, we had a CPA guide us through it. There are certain things you have to qualify for in order to be a real estate professional. So, yeah, make sure you talk to the folks in your mentor circle. CPAs are included,
Yep.
right? And they'll guide you through that.
Absolutely. Essentially, just make sure that you are spending enough hours on your individual real
Yeah.
estate.
And logging it.
And
Logging it,
just
yes.
in case.
Exactly.
Anybody else?
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Everybody
Appreciate
give
it.
Wade and Maggie a hand.